The purpose of CNS, or the mission statement, as you put it, has always been combating the spread of weapons of mass destruction by training the next generation of non-proliferation specialists at home and abroad.
So I started out with a Russian literature background. I took a circuitous route to non-proliferation. I did a master's degree in Russian and East European studies. I worked in publishing, but my heart kept telling me that I wanted to apply what I knew about Russia to something that had really significant international security implications.
If my soon-to-be born son, George, if he and everyone else is around in 30 years, it will be because of a confluence of very fortunate events and people and institutions that have done a million things to make that happen. I really, truly feel that we're one of them.
And I'm definitely very hopeful for the future, especially like right now at CNS, we have the summer interns, and listening to their presentations gave me like a lot of hope that, they have they're young, they're innovative, and they have these new ideas. So the fact that we focus a lot on disarmament education and nurturing their minds into non-proliferation, I think that's a big aspect. So I'm very hopeful for the next generation of experts in the field.
So I was training to be a surgeon, and then 9/11 happened, and the anthrax letters of 2001 happened. And I actually sent emails and made phone calls to a number of think tanks saying, I want to get into this field and I'll work for free. And the former director of this program, Dr. Ray Zelinskas, called me one day and said, well, you can't work for free, but we'll pay you. And I said, okay, tell me when I start.
So I'm Grace Slew, and I lead the Geo for Non-Pro project at CNS, which focuses on making high-resolution satellite imagery available to anyone around the world who's interested in nuclear weapons programs, weapons of mass destruction, and how those activities look from a geospatial perspective.
I work primarily on radiological security and ballistic missile technology. I also do some work in network analysis and social media.
I am very passionate about non-proliferation and disarmament education, especially for young generations.
I would say that my favorite thing about working at CNS is the people and all of the variety of expertise that they bring to projects. One of my favorite things is when we are working as a large group on projects and everyone's particular skills really get to shine. It's quite rewarding to see one person who may have an encyclopedic knowledge of Soviet military hardware, whereas someone else is an expert in the satellite imagery analysis. When we get to combine all of our different areas of expertise, I think that's when we really shine, and is my favorite part about working here.
I learned about CNS mainly just, as basically through kind of web searches, and was very intrigued that there was a think tank located in Monterey, which was just a little over 2 hours from where I was based, which was the South San Francisco area. Got more and more interested in it, and then decided it was time to take what I thought would be a professional sabbatical from the private sector, come here for about a year as a certificate in non-proliferation studies student, then return to the private sector. But the work here was so interesting, and the visibility was, as I mentioned earlier, was just tremendous. Governmental, international organizations, still being able to maintain ties with the private sector. And so the result is I stayed. I got involved in projects, and here I am 10 years later.
I became interested in the topic all through school. I had a physics teacher in high school who made me interested in the topic. And I think that carried forth into undergraduate and all my decisions from there. And so to me, that really shows the power of educating young people, high school students, college students about these issues, because I know at that age, I wanted to go into a career where I could make a positive difference in the world. That mattered more to me than any other part of the decision-making about what to do with your life. I see that in so many young people today too. And so people who think, oh, people are too young to really care about these issues or be interested in these issues if they're in high school or in college. I think that's the exact audience that you want to reach people at, and that's how I wound up in the field myself.